really fun experience. It was a lot, working from
So, guys, yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, okay, all right. Resume that recording for everybody. Thank you. Welcome, welcome. I'm Dr. Emily. I'm so glad to see you today. Welcome for joining. I'm very, very excited to have you here. And thank you for being with me. Just out of curiosity, who here is looking for a tech job in 2025? Just out of curiosity. Let me know. You can give me a thumbs up in the chat. You can give me an emoji, whatever works for you. I'm just looking to find out who is ready. Who is ready? Who is all in for this? And I'm going to try and make sure I can see everybody. Excellent. 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 Awesome. Cecilia is, James is, Isaac is, John is. Excellent. So, so good. Wonderful. Very excited. All right. At some point later in the year, Jeremiah, that's awesome. That sounds perfect. Welcome. I see Marcella and O'Neill and Paige and Scott. So good to see everybody. Awesome. So tonight, I want you to get the most out of our time together. Okay. So I'm really excited to share, just so you know, a brief bit about me. I'm Dr. Emily. I'm the founder of the Tech Joy Career Academy. I'm a former professor, and I've been helping people get six-figure job offers for over 10 years now, right? I've helped dozens and dozens of students. And in fact, my two most recent students got hired in the last 2 weeks. So the tech job market, folks, is alive and well. And so what I'm going to unpack for you tonight is exactly how you can also get access to those tech jobs, right? Who would like to know how to get a tech job in 2025? Good to see you, Steve. Good to see you, Dan and Jeremiah. Just out of curiosity, who would like to know how to get a tech job in 2025 in the age of AI? Who here is with me? Who here is with me? Yes, no, maybe? Or did my audio cut out again? Okay, James Wood, Isaac Wood. Awesome sauce, folks. All right, cool. That's what we're going to do tonight, okay? So what I recommend is I want you to be able to get the most out of our time together. So turn off distractions. If you've got, make sure you've got your water, maybe pencil and paper to jot down some notes of what you're hearing, but get ready to absorb and learn because I'm going to share everything with you tonight. I'm not holding anything back. Okay. And I want to make sure that you can take advantage of this so that you can have these jobs too. Okay. Super awesome. Super awesome. Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. So my first question for you is, what are you looking for in 2025? Right. So I know, Isaac and Marcella and John and Dan, you're looking for tech jobs in 2025, but I'd love to know why. Like, what are you looking for in 2025? Like, what do you think? What is this going to give you? What are you hoping to get out of this process? And then I'm going to be able to use that to help make sure that I'm giving you tonight the steps that you need to get there. So is anyone willing to share? Can you share what your hope is, what your dream is for what would it mean if tomorrow you had a six-figure tech job offer? What would it mean for you? Right? What would it mean? For John, it would mean location independence. That's awesome. Dan has a retirement plan. That's awesome, Dan. I love it. Success, Rashid. That's so, so good, right? So good. So many things. James, the number one reason is growth. Awesome to experience working on a team of like-minded problem solvers. That is incredible. That's a wonderful reason to be here. Financial stability, Isaac. That's why many of us make career changes, right? AI, and then Cecilia is looking for a mix of AI, project management, and remote. That's awesome. And Scott is looking to work with startups. Awesome. And what they're doing with AI. That's awesome. And make more. That's wonderful. Well, Scott, let's turn that around. All right. Because what I'm going to share with you guys tonight is going to get you on that path to getting access and unlocking salaries, right, in the high fives and six figures. How does that sound to you? Sound good for you guys? Awesome, awesome. I love it, Marcella. Thank you, Jeremiah. So, so good. These are awesome reasons. So let's make it happen, okay? Let's make it happen. Okay. And there's a lot of reasons why you might want to. And whatever it is, whether it's family, having fun, better quality of life, whatever it is, we're going to talk about it. Okay. So tonight, just briefly, so you guys know, what we're working on tonight is I'm going to go over the AI proof developer blueprint, right? So how you can become an irreplaceable coder following my battle tested career acceleration system that works even in the age of AI, proven by the students this year that have gotten job offers. And in fact, last fall of 2024, we had the highest average salary ever for our students. It was 135K, right? So the salary ranges that our students had in 2024 was 70K to 170K. Those were the job offers. That is potentially life-changing amounts of money. Am I right? So let me show you how you can unlock this. Okay, let me show you how you can unlock this. Now, before I do, is it cool with you if I share just a little bit about my story of how I became a confident coder? Is that cool with you guys? Can I share that? Just drop me a note in the chat, give me an emoji, let me know what you're thinking. Okay? Excellent. Let me know. Let me know. Thank you, Paige. Awesome. Now, some of your names I recognize, so you may have heard this before. But I want to share some big numbers with you. Not to scare you, but to show you what can happen. Okay? And that I've been there. Like wherever you are, wherever you're sitting in this space looking for that tech job that's paying six figures or more, I have been in your shoes. All right? So, my journey. $244,000. That's almost $250,000, folks. And 10 years. A decade, a whole decade of my life. That is what I spent paying the system to learn how to code. Yeah, $250,000 in 10 years. Do you want to know the kicker? I got 3 computer science degrees. But do you know who taught me how to code? Yeah, I did. Oh, talk about frustrating. Has anyone ever had that experience where you went to do something that everybody says should work and you have to do it yourself anyways because it didn't work? Oh, that was me. And I didn't just do it once. I did it 3 times. I was like, well, maybe this first time getting my bachelor's in computer science, maybe it was just that school. Let me go to another school. I'll get my master's. Let me see if that works. And then, oh, I'll get my PhD. I'll go all the way. No, so frustrating. So after that experience of being so frustrated, I made it my mission to teach absolutely anyone how to become a confident coder and create awesome software that can transform lives. And I want to be clear, I didn't leave academia because I wasn't cut out to be a professor, right? So I was a professor. Let me see if I can pull this up. Here's my professor webpage back in the day when I was a professor about 5 years ago now. I retired. I had over 50 internationally peer-reviewed publications. I gave an invited talk at Microsoft Research about my work. I've been cited by thousands of researchers worldwide on the academic papers that I published, all about how to help someone become an expert software developer really fast. And I got best paper awards, distinguished paper awards. So I didn't stop being a professor because I wasn't good at it, right? It was because I could see that the system was broken. It hadn't served me and it wasn't serving my students. And I pushed the system as hard as I could. In fact, the beginnings of the Tech Joy Career Academy that I created, I founded a school. The beginnings of it happened while I was a professor. And I battle tested this approach with dozens and dozens of students, hundreds and now thousands of students have come through and used this curriculum. And so, what I'm bringing with you before you today is really the culmination of decades of research on how do you help someone become an amazing technologist in lightning fast time. And the cool thing is is it works even in the age of AI. Okay, it works even in the age of AI. So I'm the former program director of computer science at a very small school called Drew University. I have my PhD in computer science with a concentration in software engineering, over 20 years teaching experience, and many, many peer-reviewed publications. Outside of coding, I like family, freedom, and music. All right. Oh, Dan, you're the best. So Dan, for those of you on the recording can't see this, Dan is one of our students, and he really enjoys how I teach software engineering. Thank you so much, Dan. And I really love the feedback I get from students, because I've worked very, very long on trying to figure out how can we reach everybody with this? How can we make it as accessible as possible? And I've had students tell me who have software engineering degrees that they learned more in 2 years from what I'm going to share with you tonight than in 6 years of studying software engineering. So there's a real gap in how traditional training programs prepare students, and we've tried to fill that. And I'm going to share some of that with you tonight. Okay, excellent. So the cool thing is, here's the silver lining. It was really frustrating going a decade, investing a decade of my life and $250,000 to not be taught how to code. That was really frustrating. But the silver lining is I created my own system of learning how to code that even works with AI. The idea is that AI is great, but AI and Google, they don't work all the time. Why do software developers get paid the big bucks? Because sometimes ChatGPT and Google fail. Wouldn't you like to know how to solve problems no matter what? Because that's how you keep your job, right? The folks that can't solve every problem that gets put in front of them, they're the ones that get laid off. But if you, the ones that get replaced by AI, but if you want to be the last man standing, the person everyone turns to on the team, the one you can rely on because you solve anything that comes your way, that's what I'm talking about tonight, right? I'm not talking about, oh, I can use ChatGPT and whip up an app in an hour. No, that is not the type of developer that I train. I train innovators who are going to be the technological leaders of tomorrow. That's what we're talking about tonight. Excellent. Awesome. And Isaac, I can feel you. Isaac got 3/4 of the way through a CS program. But yeah, it didn't teach you how to program. I'm not surprised. And in fact, I did, as a professor, I did take this very seriously, and I taught my students how to code. The problem is I ended up having to give them 2 degrees, one in computer science, which contractually I was obligated to teach, and one for programming and software development, which I felt honor bound to teach. And it almost killed both of us. It wasn't fair to anybody because I was giving them 2 degrees for the price of one, but double the time for both of us. So it wasn't a sustainable model, which is why I'm bringing this new approach to learning software development and these skills to you today. Excellent. Awesome sauce. So what exactly do you need to become a 6-figure coder in tech, right? Like, what do we need to know to unlock these incredible opportunities? Okay, what do we need to know to unlock these incredible opportunities? Okay, so at its core, what we need to learn is how to think like a coder. This is how we become AI proof. This is our blueprint. Okay, and so we want to learn how to think like a coder so that we can solve any tech challenge. Okay, so I have a question for you folks. Has anyone ever wondered what you need to learn to get a tech job? Has anyone ever wondered what you need to learn to get a tech job? Just out of curiosity. Has anyone ever wondered that? Anyone ever, gone on the internet and wondered, like, gosh, I want to become a full stack web developer. What do I need to do? Scott, Python. Yep. James, every day. That's a good one. So good. Right? Okay. So I'm going to tell you tonight. Isn't that awesome? The answer might not be what you expect. Okay. Let me show you something. Let me show you something. Okay. Whoa. All right, folks. What do you think of that? How does this picture make you feel? This is all of the technologies that you could be asked to learn, either in a job description or on the job. Does this make anyone feel overwhelmed? What are we thinking? Are we feeling overwhelmed? Or we're like, are super jazzed and excited? Oh my goodness, there's so many things I could learn. Yes, Cecilia, overwhelmed at where do I start? Yes. Oh my goodness, yes, right? And this is really, really common, right? If you do a Google search on what do I need to learn to get a dev job, you're going to have pictures like this popping up of all these different technologies. But there's a way through it. There's a way through it. And yes, Dan, no one knows all this stuff at an expert level. That's the silver lining, is you don't have to be an expert in all of these things all the time. But technologists and software developers, they will know some of these technologies very well, the ones they use all the time, and then they'll be asked to learn others as they go, right? And keep in mind that this picture is going to continue expanding. In technology, it's not a field where you can just go to school, learn it, and sit back and apply, right? This is not like being an accountant or a lawyer or even a musician, right? Like when you learn music, yeah, you might continue to evolve as a person, as a player, but you learn your stuff in school and then you go practice it, right? Like it's not changing, right? There rarely do we have like new instruments coming out or new forms of approaches. But in technology, this is happening all the time. Because of that, it requires a fundamentally different way of approaching your learning. Okay. Cecilia, this picture reminds her of her brain on a bad ADHD. Yes, there's too much of everything going on. The good news is we do not have to learn everything. Okay. You can't possibly know all this. But the good news is that we don't even have to try. But that picture, this picture does represent the reality of the tech landscape. But the good news is that no one is expected to know all of these things at the same time. But what I'm hoping you're getting from this is that you will always be learning. Does everyone see that? That you will always be learning in tech, like as a tech career? Like right tonight, I'm going to get you started on that pathway. But ultimately, this is something you're going to have to do over and over and over again. You're going to have to know how to learn new things. Does everyone see that? That you're going to have to learn. Yeah, lifelong learning. Exactly, James. Right. And that's how we combat the overwhelm. That instead of being overwhelmed, this becomes exciting. Oh, look at all these things I could learn versus, oh my gosh, look at all these things I have to learn. That's not how we want to think about it. We want to think about, oh my goodness, all the things I could learn and getting excited about it. Right. Exactly, right? So, and excellent, Cecilia. Most of us would be bored if we weren't continuously learning. Exactly. That's spoken like someone who's destined for the tech space and destined to be successful. The people that are not successful in the tech space see this picture, give up, and go away and find something else to do with their dreams, right? Like, like at some level, you have to want to keep learning, right? To be an awesome technologist, right? Yeah, you have to continuously rebuild their skills, right? Ongoing. Exactly. So, what does that mean for us? That means that learning to think like a coder and learn like a coder with a process to solve any tech problem is how you become irreplaceable. Imagine for a second you already had this superpower that you could become this confident coder that can solve anything, even when you haven't seen the technology before, even for technologies that haven't even been created yet, right? Like this is the kicker. And this is what was such a challenge for me as a professor. How do I prepare my students for something that doesn't exist yet? How do I prepare you to be successful when the technologies you might be working with in the future aren't even here yet? Okay. It's a fundamental shift in how I approach teaching and learning because I know I need to teach you how to teach yourself so that you are prepared for what's coming out there. And that's exactly what I'm going to share with you. So, so good. Yes. Being prepared for the unknown. Yes. And in fact, Cecilia, because you mentioned that, I will share with you the secret truth behind what I teach. Yes, I teach technology. I teach people how to get six-figure skills, but what I'm really teaching is how to be confident and comfortable in the face of the unknown. And not just any unknown, in the face of our own unknowing, because technology is constantly changing. So I'm teaching a system of how to be calm, cool, and centered no matter how technology changes. And that's how you become a master problem solver. That's how you become a six-figure software developer and get these skills that stand the test of time. I'm not just teaching you to go get a job in 2025. I'm teaching you how to solve problems in 2026 and 2030 and beyond, right? Awesome sauce focus. Awesome sauce focus. Yes, no fear. Exactly. That's what we're learning. That's what we're learning. And I got to admit, when I first started, man, oh, I get so annoyed with myself when I couldn't learn something, and so, my system is born from experience of not being able to solve problems and then flipping the switch. And how do I know that I've nailed it? Is because people will bring me problems in technologies I've never seen before, and I help them. Right. So, like, these skills, not only do they help me learn how to code and be successful, I've turned around and then taught them to others and use them to continue helping them. Right. Super, super awesome. Yes, exactly. That solid foundation, Dan. You've got it. So, I'd like to take a moment and share with you this power of thinking like a coder. We've had so many students be successful in the past 2 years. I just want to, throughout tonight, I'll just share a couple snippets with you. We had a student, Wendy, who actually went to 2 boot camps, not 1, but 2, before arriving at my door. She never learned to think like a coder, and she got a tech job, but was laid off a couple years later. It was less than 2 years, less than 2 years. And she followed the system that I'm sharing with you tonight, and she got 2 job offers in the same week and accepted one for 86K. All right? So these stories happen all the time, right? And so I'm just sharing with you, when you take the time to think like a coder, you become successful. You become successful. Super awesome. Super awesome, folks. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate. Just drop them in the chat. Happy to answer. Okay? And we're live, in case you couldn't tell. I'm assuming you could figure that out. Awesome. So the other piece of information I promised to share with you tonight is that our tech stack mastery map. Okay. So this is another antidote to that giant picture with all that tech that was like crazy overwhelming. There is a way that, like, how do we focus our attention, right? Like, okay, we could learn all of those things, but which ones are the most important? Which ones should we focus on? This is how we become irresistible when we go on the job market. Okay. When we go on the job market, let me walk you through what this looks like. Okay. So there's a very simple process. And this is really cool because inside the academy, our students don't compete with one another. I've heard at other boot camps that all the students come out with the same cookie cutter skills and apply for the same jobs, and the competition is like fierce. That's kind of a problem, right? Because you're competing against all these people that have learned the same thing as you have. Well, the way I teach is very hands-on, and so everyone's had a different experience. And in fact, we actually customize the experience to each individual student based on their dream career. And in addition, we also focus on our local regions, right? So we're a worldwide program, but everyone lives in different locations. So they're applying for jobs in specific regions. So how do you get the leg up on the competition? How do you differentiate yourself to increase your chances of success, of increasing your chances of getting an interview, right? So when you look in your local region, different regions have flavors. And so if you're living in New York, you might learn a different tech stack than if you're living in Boston, Atlanta, or San Francisco. And whatever tech stack you learn is going to give you a different set of jobs that are going to be a good fit for you. So how do we figure out what those technologies should be? Okay, I will share with you my secret strategy for doing this. So what you want to do is pick 6 to 12 job ads in your local area. These are example jobs that you would enjoy, but you probably won't get these. They'll probably be filled before you've learned the skills, but at least it gives you an idea of what's, current in your region. Then you're going to want to right? So here's an example job ad. And what we're going to do is we're going to skim through it and just look for the technologies that are popping out. So for instance, we got React.js, Next.js, GraphQL, HTML, CSS, TypeScript, PostgreSQL. Okay, cool. Now that's one job ad. We want to do this a few more times. So we look up a couple more, right? Ooh, these are remote, 80 to 120K a year. That's nice. I'd take that. Okay, they're asking for Figma, HTML, CSS, Next.js. Cool, cool. But here's another one. Experience with Node, React, AWS Cloud Tools. Are you guys with me? Are you starting to see a pattern, right? Are you guys seeing like there's some similarities in the technologies that are out here, right? Are you guys seeing this? Give me a thumbs up, note in the chat. Super, super awesome. Yep, trending tech needs, exactly, Cecilia, right? And so from there, you look at what technologies all those job ads have in common. And then you pick the most common ones and you build your plan around that. Okay, you build your plan around that. And so if you're not sure, for full stack, we recommend specifically Next.js, TypeScript, React, Prisma, Neon, some kind of a data store, some kind of an SQL-based data store. That would be what I recommend. Now, you might have noticed I'm listing multiple technologies. It's very rare that someone gets a job in one technology, especially if they're on the web. You might be able to get away with one technology if you're programming something like Python, Java, or C++, but most web languages, web systems are really just like this alphabet soup of different languages. And so you're going to need multiple ones. But the good news is you don't necessarily have to learn them super deeply. When I say learn, I don't mean like spend 5 years memorizing it. It's like, okay, I have a project and I'm going to pick up as much as I can in a weekend and go apply it, right? Like we want to learn, like professional developers learn quickly. And they have to, because they have to pick up and grab the right tool for the job. It might be a lot easier to use one language versus another to solve a problem. And it's faster. If you know how to learn, it's way faster to just learn that new language that makes your life so much easier. It's kind of like, think of it this way, right? I don't know if anyone's ever cut down a tree, but you could use a saw by hand, right? Like, oh my goodness, cutting down this tree, it's taking forever. Or you could learn how to use a chainsaw, right? You have to learn how to use that chainsaw. But once I do, I can cut down lots of trees really fast. Okay. And so this is the same idea, is that as programmers, we want to use the right tool for the job. And this is why most professionals are very comfortable picking up new languages. A, because languages are changing all the time. And B, because you want to use the right one for the job, because it's going to make your life so much easier, right? So much easier. Exactly. So, so good. Awesome. James loves TypeScript. Super awesome. Excellent. All right. So we've talked about how to become irreplaceable by learning to think like a coder and solve any problem, any tech problem. We've talked about becoming irresistible, right? And our tech stack mastery map. Okay. So finally, I'm going to talk about installing my 6-figure developer confidence with real world production experience and how that can lead to earning, right? Awesome sauce, folks. Awesome sauce. Okay, cool. Let's take a minute and talk about this. Okay. So one of the keys, okay, I've known this for a long time, but one of the keys to getting a tech job is experience. Has anyone else ever seen that on a job ad, or the job ad, it might even say entry level, but man, it's looking for a lot of experience. Has anyone ever seen that in job ads? Let me know in the chat. Give me a thumbs up. What are you guys seeing? Do you guys know how important experience is on the job hunt? Let me know. Let me know. Awesome. John sees it. Super good. In fact, you must have 100 years experience in HTML and CSS. That's good. Yes, they want everything with experience and everything. Yes, Cecilia, exactly. In fact, they don't just want experience. They want recent experience. How recent? At least within the last 6 months. If you have not been deploying to production in the past 6 months, it doesn't matter if you have 10 or 15 years experience, no one's going to care. It's really, really cutthroat. because no company wants to teach you how to deploy to production. This is the process where you take a piece of code and you get it live on the internet where users can actually see it and use it and touch it. And most training programs that I've seen do not teach this side. And it is absolutely critical. It usually takes our students 1 to 3 months to like master this. Meanwhile, we teach like the fundamentals of programming and problem solving in 1 to 3 months, right? Like this is like a meaty skill. No companies want to teach it, which is why they're asking for so much experience, right? Yeah, recent with proof, exactly. Yes. And in fact, I've had students tell me that they've been asked on an interview, when was the last time you deployed to production? When was the last time you pushed to production? So this is really important. In fact, the student that reported that to me, he just got a job offer for 123K. Super excited for him. He just got it last week. So there is hope. And he got the experience in the way that I'm going to show you now. So this recent real world production experience, it's not a nice to have. It is an absolutely essential element. And it's why our students are so successful, right? I hear all the time, oh, the job market, oh, AI. Yeah, guess what? My students had more job offers than ever before when layoffs in AI were happening. Because when you figure out what works and what the skills employers actually want, right? You still get hired. Because at the end of the day, there's still like 250,000 to 500,000 tech jobs at any one moment that are available. So all we have to do is figure out how to get to the top of the pile, right? In a smart, intelligent way. And we do it with recent real world production experience. Okay. So what does that look like? Okay. Let me be clear. That does not look like a portfolio project that you worked on over the weekend. It doesn't even look like a team project with your buddies. It needs to have a client. It needs to be deployed to live users, right? It has to be current production experience. Okay. And, just to kind of put this into perspective, the really big tech companies, the FANG companies like Facebook, Apple, Amazon, Google, they train their developers on production for 6 to 12 months before they even allow them in the door on their production systems. Like this is a pretty serious, meaty thing to be able to do. So what does that look like? I want to show you this so you can recognize if you have production experience or not. And then you can think through, okay, is it recent enough? Is it less than 6 months? So this is an example of our project management board that we use on one of our internship projects for our software clients. And so each of these little boxes is a task that someone could potentially be working on. If you see a circle on it, it means someone's been assigned and is probably working on it. That's what's meant by this in progress column here. So if we click on one of these boxes, we can see details about the ticket, about the task, who it's been assigned to. Internally, we have levels to help guide students on progressing, in building skills. And then, our senior dev helped describe, how it was laid out. And then you would go and you would implement it. So you want to make sure you have experience working on the command line, working with something called Git, okay? And this is an example of VS Code. You'd make some changes, you'd commit it to the main repo, right? And then it would become a pull request. You'd be given feedback from staff, from your team members, from the senior staff. And then this is an example of what that might look like. So if you've seen things like this, congratulations, you have some experience with Git. If you haven't, right, these are all skills that can be learned, right? You can absolutely learn them, but you want to take the time to do so before you apply for jobs because it's going to be very difficult to pass the interview. And getting interviews can be it takes a while sometimes to get an interview. And the last thing you want to do is manage to get an interview and then not be prepared. So you want to do this ahead of time, do this in advance. Okay. So to recap, to summarize, our AI proof developer blueprint is that we're learning to think like a coder and with a process to solve any problem. That's how we become irreplaceable. We're doing a tech stack mastery map to become irresistible on our local market. And finally, we're installing the 6-figure developer confidence by getting real world production experience and hopefully getting on the path to getting compensated and getting paid. Do you guys see how powerful this is for preparing you for the job market? Just out of curiosity, has anyone been on the job market and like been burned? Has anyone been applying for jobs? Has anyone been to a boot camp before or gotten a college degree in tech? No worries, Eddie. It's all good. Let me see if I can get you guys a poll. Let's see. Yeah, Isaac has. Let me see. Okay. I'm going to give you guys a quick poll because I really want to customize what we're talking about tonight to you and wherever you are. If you guys could take a second and just fill in like where you are, if you've never coded before, if you have some coding experience, right? That'd be super, super helpful. Okay, cool. Because I want to make sure I'm not, if you've never coded before, I don't want to blow past you. I am using some, technical lingo. If you have any questions on that, if there's anything you didn't understand, please don't hesitate to pop in there. The names I'm seeing in the chat seem fairly experienced. So if you're a beginner, please don't hesitate to pop, a question in the chat, and I'm happy to answer it. Okay, folks? Super, super awesome. Scott doesn't get paid when working on startups because they're stuck in development and validation. Yeah, that's a little bit rough, Scott. Startups are a good side hustle, not a main event, right? You can't necessarily put a roof over your head or keep a roof over your head with a startup. That's going to be challenging. Eddie tried a boot camp, but it was too accelerated. Yeah, really frustrating. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Some of these boot camps are really, really challenging. They give you like 80-hour weeks and they expect you to master this in like 3 months. And like I've taken it pretty fast, right? Like I really workshopped this to make it as fast as possible. But there are limits to how fast the average person can assimilate this new knowledge, right? Like there's literally boundaries. Like I've really taught these things accelerated, but you can only go so far. Like you really can't become 6-figure full stack in 3 months. I don't care if you're doing 80-hour weeks. Like literally you can't absorb all the things. Anyways, yeah, John's written MATLAB. Good. Cecilia reminds a giant snap group where you have access to everything to assist without failure at risk. Awesome. Awesome. Oh, cool. Marcella's worked with DevOps. Super awesome. Oh man, Marcella, if you've got DevOps experience, like, yeah, throw a little coding in there. Totally fire. James is super interested and a sponge for information. James, that sounds like an awesome background to start learning coding because it's really, really fun. Cognitive overload. Isaac, you'll have to share what was cognitive overload. I'm trying to scroll back and see if you shared it earlier. I didn't see it. Awesome. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, folks. So we have a wide range, a wide variety here. Thank you so much for sharing. About a third of you never, a third web, and then the rest of the third more advanced. Okay, awesome. So again, if you are relatively new to coding, if you're a beginner, please ask me questions. Okay, and I'm happy to explain any of these topics. I love doing that. I'll be honest, like getting beginners started is one of my favorite things. Okay. So please don't hesitate to ask questions. All right. Okay. So sometimes it's frustrating. Sometimes the process of learning is frustrating. All right. I'm curious. Has anyone ever faced any of these challenges? Okay. So if you've been struggling to learn to code before, has anyone been, I forgot to check on the poll. Has anyone been like applying for jobs? I should go back and grab that poll. But if you've been applying for jobs and not having success, right? If you've been struggling to learn this, there's a lot of potential reasons for that. But ideally, at the end of the day, the system wasn't set up to teach coding skills, right? The learning systems that we have in place today in our society are used to teach things that have been around for a really long time. That's how the system was set up. They aren't set up to teach technology that's changing all the time, right? So it's not, if you've tried to learn to code before and failed, it's not you, right? It's not you. It was the system. Okay. Yeah. Struggle bus. Exactly, Isaac. We want to get off that struggle bus. Excellent. Yep. Awesome. So if you've been struggling, you might have found that you couldn't get an interview. I get a lot of students coming to me that are there. You might have found that you needed experience, right? We had this conversation earlier. You needed experience, but you can't get experience. How frustrating, right? How frustrating. Can't learn enough languages or frameworks. Right? That was that first picture we saw that was so overwhelming for everybody. Hopefully now you know, though, that we can learn to think like a coder and it doesn't have to be so intimidating, right? And then finally, does anyone have this question? AI, AI taking all the tech jobs? I've been hearing this on the streets past few months. Is anyone else? Is this the elephant in the room that nobody's willing to admit? Just, it's okay, lay it on me. Automation. It is the going rumor all over the internet. I know, right? Oh man, between the layoffs and AI, gosh, tech isn't safe anymore. Okay, I hope you know I'm joking here. I hope you can hear the joke in my voice because I just had 2 students get job offers the past 2 weeks, right? Like it's happening. It's happening. There's always a little bit of a gap at the beginning of the year when no one is hiring. It was a little bit later this year than previous years, but okay, it started. The job rush is here, spring job rush. Awesome. John just watched a guy build an entire program with AI yesterday. Yes. And it is awesome for building new things. Unfortunately, building new things is not what most of a software developer's time is spent on. 80% of a software developer's time is spent on editing things. I'm going to get into this in just a second. Awesome. Excellent. All right, cool. So yeah, and the market's always going to be a little ahead of what's in training, right? That's always going to be the case, which is why it's so important that you actually learn how to think like a coder and how to adapt to anything. Okay. Excellent. 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 So it's the age of AI. It's the age of AI. So AI is definitely changing the game. So let's just take a minute and talk about this, okay? Let's be real for a minute here. Is it cool if I'm real with you guys about what's happening? All right. Okay. So AI works awesome. It works really good for some things. In fact, you know what was mentioned before? Creating an app in a matter of hours. That is awesome. I have to say though, both for myself and for our software clients, that AI is really good at building things until it's not. Take this image for an example. Do you guys see where the AI is not working? Oh my goodness, this woman's arms, like they're not even attached. They look like they're coming out of her chin. And here, this dude somehow got 2 torsos, right? So notice what AI is messing up here. AI is messing up the connections. All right, in all these pictures, AI is messing up connections, fingers, limbs, heads, right? And photographs, image generation is something AI is pretty good at. So what does this have to do with coding? Okay. So someone had brought up before that AI can build a new app in a couple hours. Yes, it can. And it's awesome. And it speeds up software developers when it does so. But you can't hold AI responsible. And it is really bad at connections. So what happens when you need to change that piece of software? Okay, so AI generated me this piece of software in 2 hours. I'm going to go live. I'm going to put it in the App Store and I'm going to start selling it. People have done this. And then they wonder how their account got hacked. And they wonder, oh, I have a bug. I need to fix it. How do they fix it? How do they redeploy it to the App Store? How do they test it to make sure that this code will work with high robustness, that it's going to be reliable and scalable and fast? Because the thing is, there's more to creating code and being a software developer than just the code itself. And creating that seed architecture, that beginning, it's less than 20% of the whole process. And the connections, this is how you adapt the code. You take a little piece out, you fix it up, and you put it back in. AI doesn't know how to do these things. And someone has to tell the AI what to do. So if you don't know anything about security, you're going to create massively insecure systems that could potentially compromise you and have like foreign, agents steal all your money. Or you could have really unhappy customers because there was a critical failure and you had no one to call to fix it for you, right? Like, and the AI couldn't do it for you. So AI is changing the game of software development, no doubt about it. But what I'm trying to be clear about is it's not removing the software developer from the equation. In fact, it's making them more essential because software developers actually have the big picture context that AI requires to do its job well, right? Yes, exactly, Cecilia. You need a human, right? You need a human to figure out the bugs, to solve them, to test it, even just to simply write the prompts and know if AI did it, right? And know if AI did it. I have a really good example for this. Let's see, where did I put it? Okay, I'll find it. I have a really good example for AI. I'll see if it's on the next page. All right, I think we've moved over. So let's talk about what does this mean? Yes, I did have my good example over here. Okay. So has anyone ever gone to like a famous restaurant? Right? Has anyone ever gone to maybe like Emerald's or a Bobby Flay restaurant? Just out of curiosity, has anyone ever gone to one of these fancy pants restaurants? Let's take Bobby Flay. Has anyone been to Bobby Flay's burger joint? Just out of curiosity. No? No one's been? No one at all? Okay. Well, I went once. Okay. Okay. I haven't tried it yet. Okay. No worries, Eddie. So I've been there. Do you think Bobby Flay cooked my burger? What do you guys think? Did Bobby, did Bo- Bobby, if I can say his name right, did Bobby Flay cook my burger? No, of course not. Nobody, what? Are you kidding? Of course he didn't cook my burger. He has staff for that. He has sous chefs to cook for him. He's not in every restaurant all the time. He just designed it, right? So, when Bobby Flay is setting up a new restaurant, how does he know that his staff are doing it right? Well, he created the dish. He knows what it should look like. And so he looks. Did they create what he intended? Yes or no? Because he knows how to do it himself. Keep that in mind. Bobby Flay knows how to do this himself. So he can recognize when his staff have done it correctly or not. Exactly, Steve. The cooks have to learn the process. And when they don't do it right, when the cooks don't cook Bobby's burger right, how does he correct them? He tells them, right? He tells them how to do it. Are you guys tracking with me yet? Are you tracking with what this has to do with AI? Bobby has to know how to do it himself to be able to tell his staff how to do it. He doesn't have to do it, right? Like Bobby Flay doesn't have to cook the burger, but he has to know how to cook the burger or else he can't show his staff how to do it correctly. All right. Every developer using AI has like an army of AI sous chefs now. But do you see how AI only helps coders if they know how to do it anyways? Because they have to actually know what to ask for. They have to recognize if the AI did it right. So to be honest, the way AI and coding has been used lately by some has been very dangerous for them. Not for me. I'm not going to launch an app that AI created blindly on the internet. I'm going to I'm going to go get some I'm going to go get some support, right? I'm not going to just do that. But some people are. And then they need developers, right? Exactly. They have to be able to tell the AI what to do, right? And in fact, I get business owners, tech startups, founders coming to me with AI prototypes and saying, "Okay, I want this to be a real app because now I want to sell it to users." And they know they actually need a human to get this launched like properly so it doesn't come crashing and burning down. And then they have, heaven forbid, a business owner launches an app created by AI, has no development team on staff, and it goes horribly wrong, and he starts losing revenue and customers. Like, you need someone there to catch it if things don't go right. Or I should probably say when they don't go right, because that kind of happens all the time in software. So AI is not replacing the developers, right? Long story short, but it has evolved the role of the developer. AI is replacing mediocre in every discipline. So it's replacing entry level. Entry levels don't really look like entry level anymore, right? And they're morphing them into senior level. Okay. But if we don't have entry level, how do we get these senior level devs? We'll have to think about that one. Okay. Right. It's like saying we only want teenagers, but no toddlers. Well, okay. Well, if you're going to have teenagers, at some point, they're going to have to get to the teenager stage, right? Yeah, so yeah, sometimes, yeah, AI is not replacing skilled developers. Exactly, right? And now everyone's kind of getting it. AI doesn't solve every problem. It solves some problems really well. And to be honest, it typically solves problems that humans understand well already. At least if some human on the planet understands a problem well, AI can probably solve it. But humans don't understand software that well, right? Anyways, okay, I digress. A human is still required, right? At the end of the day, a human is still required to tell the AI what to do, to prompt it, right? And to know if it worked. That is the step that really requires a human that could do it anyways. So here's the kicker. AI only saves you time if you could do it yourself anyways. Otherwise, it's like, Bobby Flay saying, "Hey, like go make my burgers," and walking away without training them in any way, shape, or form. He's going to get garbage. He didn't, right? He didn't teach them. The person using the AI kind of has to be able to recognize it. And that's the thing where AI works really well right now, right? Is images, writing, like copywriting, design. It's really easy for us to recognize that AI worked, even if we're not very expert at it. But with something like software, it's hard work to read code, right? Like it's a very cognitive activity. So to recognize that it worked, and then you have to be able to run it, right? If you're going to run it, you have to know how to build it. Anyways, garbage in, garbage out. Exactly, James. Yep. Yeah, did Dan saw an article that only about 30 to 40% of AI projects have had any payback, and about half of those have provided meaningful results from a financial perspective. Yes. And anyone who knows AI knew this and was not distracted by all the hubbub of the CEOs and C-suite executives who were drunk on this idea that they could fire all their employees because that's where a lot of their, revenue costs go, where their profits go. It's not the case. They wanted it to be so. They were trying to speak it into the world. But for any of us that actually know what AI is capable of and have been watching it try and fail to do amazing things for decades, like it made a huge leap. Don't get me wrong, but it's not like the end all be all yet. Okay. Yeah, labor is the highest cost of business. So of course the CEOs are like, AI is replacing all of my employees. Well, it probably is replacing some of them, right? Especially if they're below mediocre. But is it replacing all of them? Not the highly skilled ones, right? Okay. Anyways, all right. So I think, are we all on the same page? Like, yes, AI is changing the game, but it is not removing the jobs. It's just transforming them, because now you get to be Bobby Flay, the developer, who tells an army of AI people what to do. Okay. Okay. Excellent. 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 Okay, cool. Awesome sauce, folks. So I'm curious, are you guys cool? Would you guys like to know? I've created the Tech Joy Career Academy. And if you'd like, I can share a little bit more about it. Would you guys like to hear about it? I can tell you how we actually teach these skills. Okay, cool. Excellent. And oh, I'm super excited, guys, because I've got a really cool gift for you. I have a really cool bonus today. I don't think I've offered it in like a year and a half. Like, this is fire. It's gonna be awesome. So anyways, so tonight's a good night to come. I'll put it that way. Tonight's a good night. And depending on how well you like the bonus I've got, maybe it'll stick around, maybe not. So you're well placed to take advantage. All right. So let me talk to you guys about the Tech Joy Career Academy, where you can land your dream tech job in 2025, like so many of our other students. Okay. And I want to take a minute and try to actually explain the power of the training method that we use, because it's nowhere else. Like, you can't get our like style of training anywhere else. And I've had a number of people like come to me thinking about joining, and then they chose a different boot camp, and they come back to me months later, oh, I wish I had come to you first. Here, I'm here, right? This just happens because no one else has created this really unique and effective way of teaching. And no one will, because I'm kind of crazy anyways. So, okay, that's neither here nor there. I am very energetic. And I get excited when faced with a challenge. And so I created something that most people would shy away from, but it's very, very effective. That's why I created it. Okay. So in the Tech Joy Career Academy, we are training in some sense the way nature and history have intended for eons, right? So let's think about this for a second. So imagine a world before like normal K through 12 and college education was created, right? How did people learn? Well, if you wanted to learn something, you would go find someone who knows that thing and you would learn from them, right? You would have them teach you. So you'd apprentice to an expert practitioner, right? If you wanted to learn to cook like Bobby Flay, you'd go say, "Hey, Bobby Flay, can I learn to chef from you?" Right? Or if you wanted to learn some other skill, you'd find someone who had this skill and you'd go and you'd learn from them, right? Yeah, their parents and people in the area, whomever. So here's the deal with tech. How can you learn something like tech that's literally being invented like while we create it, right? Like while we learn it, it is being invented while we're trying to learn it. How does this even compute, right? This defies all of the traditional learning methods that have come out since like the 1500s. Like tech is a new thing. So the way we can learn it though is we can learn by doing from those who are doing it well. And this is actually our model, and it's the secret sauce behind what we do, is that we find people who are getting paid very well to use these skills, and we have them teach our students. So we cover the basics, and then we also employ senior software engineers, they're all US based, to help keep the training going and have those skills, because like with tech, there might only be a couple people in the world that like really like know this one thing, but they can explain it to you really fast. And so you get the benefit of decades of knowledge in a few hours, right? Like I've seen it happen. Like I saw a student come in as a front end engineer, and within a month, he learned back end too, because he was learning from experts that could just tell him very quickly and easily what like the how he needed to think about it. So once you've got those basics down, right? It really unlocks the potential to learn anything, and it's a matter of just, okay, what skills do you want to learn, right? What skills do you want to learn? And so that's just, I want to give a shout out here to colleges and boot camps that oftentimes traditional training programs are artificially creating environments for you to learn in, right? They're giving you toy projects, they're giving you, book learning, things that aren't real. There's value there, but there's a lot more value in actually getting experience to put on your resume, to actually getting to do the work, right? You learn so much more that you could never possibly write in a book about like how to deploy real software, just by working on a team and volunteering for one task and seeing all the complexities that go into that one thing. And it's a perfect learning vehicle because you get to become the expert on that one thing. No one else knows the answer, so you can't cheat, and you just got to get it done. You got to keep asking questions, talking to your mentors until you've got it, right? It's a really, really great learning mechanism, right? So this is the philosophy behind what we do inside the Tech Joy Career Academy and this is what allows our students to skip entry level and jump straight into six figures, because we're giving them on the job style training before their first job offer. So they go in with experience. They have a guaranteed internship, and it's a training internship. It's actually integrated as part of the training program. So you're not just learning these, skills that have nothing to do with reality. Like there's actual real work happening, and that's what makes it such a meaningful learning experience. All right, cool. Excellent. Let's see. So yeah, you don't have to pay tens of thousands of dollars or 4 years of your life to get a really incredible training. because we figured out how to do it. Okay. So what does that look like? We have a couple phases. Okay. We have a couple phases. So the first phase is you're learning to think like a coder, right? Learning to think like a coder. We're doing the training. Takes a couple months typically. We ask students to work part-time, 10 hours a week. If you have more hours, you can go faster. And we have a practice technical interview, okay, which we coach you on, right? We prep you, but we want to make sure that your first technical interview is not when you're interviewing for an actual job. We want it to be here where we can like practice and get better. Okay. So you'll pass the technical interview. Then you move on to your pre-intern training, depending on which pathway you wanted to choose. And then you'd become an intern. So the first phase of training typically takes 1 to 3 months. The second phase, the internship portion of the training, is typically another 3 months. Okay. Then you get promoted to junior dev, like right inside the academy. It's awesome. And that's the point at which we're rubber stamping you and saying, you have awesome skills. We can happily serve as a reference when you apply for jobs and speak to your awesomeness, right? Like that's really awesome. So you would keep working on the internship, keep learning, keep deepening your skills, maybe even taking on a leadership role and getting that on your resume to help you, escalate even further. And then you would be applying for jobs and eventually start earning. And so that would be in the second phases. Typically, you want to allow about 6 months for a job offer. That's on average, or like that's a fairly, I guess it's not necessarily the average. I would say the average is probably closer to 3 to 4 months, but you want to allow for 6 months, right? Because most, I would say 80% of our students get job offers within that first 6 months when they've made it to this phase of the program, right? Yeah. Excellent. Super. That's great, Cecilia. That's awesome. Now, our flagship internship is the full stack program, which does front end and back end. But we also have pilot internships for low code, QA, like testing, AI, DevOps. So we have a lot of, opportunities if you're interested in something. What we try to do is customize the internship experience to each student. But most of our students come to us for full stack. So at the end of the day, like, what's setting the Tech Joy Career Academy apart, right? What's setting us apart? Well, for one thing, it's super flexible, right? How many of you wished school was more flexible than you had done in the past, right? Imagine you could learn remote when and where you want. Sweet. It's super effective, right? Because you're learning by doing from industry experts. It is the fastest path to learning. You get guaranteed experience, right? On our training internship, which is totally unique. And you get to learn for just 2 hours a day. If you've got more time, that's awesome. You can deepen your learning and get on the job market faster. We have 24/7 community support. Typical response times are definitely within an hour or less, right? Like we're on all the time. And we have US-based live Zooms daily, right? From peer mentors and senior devs ready to hang out and support you in your learning. So you don't have to go far if you get stuck. Somebody's going to be there to help support you and like accelerate your progress so you can move through even faster, right? It's super awesome. It's super awesome. So I want to take a second and just spotlight one of our students, Adi, who he had a degree in tech, but he just couldn't get any of the coding interviews. They just weren't calling him back. He was having real problems with it. So after joining our internship, he applied for a 100% remote dev job and he received it. It was for $70K. It was his first full-time tech job. He was super excited. And the cool thing was, part of the reason why Adi got the job is because this was a job that had a connection to the academy, and they only interviewed 4 academy students. That was it. Like normally jobs get thousands of applicants, so you're like competing against everybody like that applied. Here, only 4 people were considered. And he was the one of the 4 that got the offer. It's pretty awesome, right? So that was a really, really cool outcome for him. Yep. Excellent. And, we really focus on helping you learn as quickly as possible, right? As quickly as makes sense for you, right? Because at the end of the day, like you have a certain lifestyle you want to live. And however fast you want to get there, we want to support you in that. We want to support you in that. And the way we do that is by having you learn from expert senior software engineers. And you're learning to deploy in production. You're learning by doing the fastest path. There's no trainings for some of the things that we're teaching this way, but we teach them. We teach these skills. And the support is all US based, right? All US based, which, I mean, we're the country that invented Unix, right? And a lot of computer science. So pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. And this student, I'm super excited to share. He is our top ever earning student. So Nick had been laid off for months, and prior management experience had overqualified him for the software engineering tier jobs that he really, really wanted. He wanted to be a software engineer, but he was getting kind of pigeonholed as a manager. So he had a lot of experience, but he still couldn't get a job, right? So after joining our customized internship, Nick worked on an AI-based project that he actually started from scratch. And through that leadership opportunity, in last November, he started his dream job as an AI software engineer, making $170K. Not too shabby, huh? Not too shabby. So whether you're a beginner or you've got some experience, our program can help you move forward, right? Now is anyone wondering how long it might take you? Because I think I've been sharing a lot of ranges in here. And you're going to get the go as well. It's so good. So, and actually, like, we love Nick. He actually came back as a coach. And so he's continuing to advise students on that project. Super awesome. But if you're wondering, how long will it take me, right? Our program is not time-based. College is time-based. Put in your 4 years, see you later. Boot camps are often time-based. Put in your 80-hour weeks for 90 days and you're done, right? We don't assume how fast it takes you to learn. We don't assume how much time you have available. We've intentionally made this super flexible so you can learn when and where you want. The flip side is I can't tell you how long it will take. But to be honest, even if I said, okay, give me 16 weeks, you're going to work these certain hours as a professor, like, I still can't tell you how much you're going to learn because learning is an individual thing. So our progression is based on mastery, right? You advance when you've mastered the phase before, however long that takes, or however quickly that goes, right? You could be an expert and get on the internship in a weekend. I've seen students do it. You could also be a true beginner, and it takes a little bit longer than the months that I shared, the ranges that I shared. So how long can you expect it to take you? Because we've worked with, hundreds and hundreds of students. Like, we have some sense of how long this takes. Okay. So if you have absolutely no coding experience and you've only got 10 hours a week, that's really the bare minimum that we look for. Expect it to take you a good year to finish the training. And then you probably want to allow for 6 months on the backside of that for applying for jobs, because we support you in that process as well. If you've got 20 or more hours in the week, you'll be able to go faster, right? Maybe 6 to 8 months. I've seen it done. Now, depending on how much coding experience you have, it can go faster, right? If you've already had a job in tech, even if you've never coded before, it might only take you 4 to 8 months to get a job offer. Our fastest student had a job offer in 2 weeks. That's unusual, right? But we've had a number of students get job offers in a month. They're not getting full stack developer job offers. These are low code job offers. These are IT job offers that are looking for someone with a little bit of coding experience. And so, depending on your particular experience, right? Like, this could go faster. This is why I can give you ranges, but I can't tell you concretely until you get there. But I'm going to make it easy for you to figure that out. Okay. I'm working on this. I'll show you in just a minute. So, to share an example of that, we had a student, Mike, who had been in IT and had been applying for jobs for months and months, but no luck. And then he completed the first month in the academy, and he used his mastery of that first month's module to think like a coder on an interview. Has anyone ever been on an interview and gotten asked a question they didn't know the answer to? That was where Mike was. He was on the interview and they'd asked him a question. He didn't know the answer. But he didn't panic. He kept his head and he thought through his thinking like a coder training. and he thought aloud and he answered the question. And they were so impressed, they hired him as the top candidate out of 15 that they interviewed. Pretty awesome. That was 114K IT contract. Pretty awesome. He's still looking for his salary position, but hey, pretty nice in the meantime. Earn while you learn. Super awesome. Okay. So what does this look like on the ground, right? So our 6-figure pipeline. You learn to become a master problem solver, where tech becomes your new superpower in weeks, not years. You join our training internship and get that hands-on experience. It's part-time and virtual, so you can work when and where you want. You apply to become a part-time remote contractor. We even have opportunities in-house, and you can earn while you keep learning. And then you follow our best-in-class job hunt strategy to land a full-time position with salary and benefits. All right, so pretty awesome. So even though AI is changing the game and it might require a little more skill to get our foot in the door, there's a lot of support here. And there's ways you can keep earning and like even while you're learning and applying for jobs. Okay, so we talked earlier about some of these frustrations that can come up when we're applying for jobs. And I just want to take a minute and show you how the Tech Joy Career Academy addresses these. Okay. So if you can't get an interview or experience, we got you covered, right? You're going to have actual experience deploying in production. If you get overwhelmed thinking about all the languages and tech you could be learning, we're going to teach you how to solve any tech problem, even the ones that haven't been invented yet. And if you think AI is eating entry-level tech jobs, we're going to teach you how to skip entry level and jump straight into the 6-figure skills. Pretty awesome. And these skills, the hands-on internship, it really is a game changer. So we had a student, Danielle, who she went to a coding boot camp and could not get any interviews. So she joined the Academy internship program and she received an offer making 20K more than she did as a teacher. And that offer was actually for an apprenticeship. So she went through our internship and then became an apprentice at her next company. But it was still for 20K more than she made full-time as a teacher. But she did just a couple months ago, she was hired on full-time and promoted at a much higher salary. So we're super excited for Danielle. Super, super excited. Yep. And again, guys, if you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. Happy to answer. So who are we looking for, right? Who is this for? Who is this going to be a good fit for? If you are invested not only in your success, but the success of others, you're going to like it here, right? Most of our students are very giving, kind-hearted people, and we want to keep it that way. Yes, James, I'll make sure to send out the recording after the call. We are looking for people who are responsible and professional because we are training you to be a professional software developer capable of earning 6 figures. If you are a flake, we are not going to be able to recommend you for any jobs. And if people call us for reference, we're not going to be able to say good, kind things. So we want to focus on people who are willing to behave in a responsible and professional manner. What does that look like? Completing tasks in a timely manner. And if you can't complete a task on time, clearly communicating with your team or when you're stuck, and reaching out for help. The people that we're looking for and who are a good fit for the Academy are good shepherds of the tasks assigned to them. So when they get stuck, they reach out and they make use of available resources. Okay. And we are specifically looking for kind humans. Okay. We do have a community standard that we hold our community members to help keep it a safe space where everyone can feel comfortable learning. Yep. Yep. Yes, exactly, Eddie. But you do your best to complete the task on time. Exactly. And if you can't, it's okay. Just share it. Like, oh my goodness, like life happened. My basement flooded, or like, a relative had an emergency. Like, we get it. Like, this is a part-time organization. We're looking for people who are not going to ghost us. We're looking for people who are going to show up for themselves and for the work and for their team and do awesome things. Like the tech that we're creating can change the world. It's awesome. It is so cool. Like if you think about how much you use your phone and how powerful these tools are, it is awesome, right? Yes. No, you don't have to hug a tree or pet goldfish, just using kind words, right? Like literally that's it. Great question. Great question. So I would like to invite you to join the Tech Joy Career Academy. I'm making this stupid easy, guys. Is that cool? Can I make this stupid easy to sign up right now? I'm going to make this really easy. All right. But I'm going to tell you all the things, right? I want to be super clear about this. Okay. I'm going to make it stupid easy to sign up. And I'm going to give you the best gift I've given in like 2 years. So you're going to have to wait for that one. Okay. So first of all, here is how I'm going to make it stupid easy to sign up. You can get started right now today for $7. Yeah, I said it. This is a multi-$1,000 program and you can get a week for $7. Okay. It's just going to be a week, but I don't want you guys just to take my word for it. All right. I want you guys to experience it and see for yourselves. Okay. So it's $7, right? Like competing boot camps charge like 10 to 40K. Like this is a really, really good deal. $7, it's 1 week. Okay. You can cancel at any time. Okay. If you decide to continue, it's $97 a week. Okay. But I want you to come in and see for yourself. So that's what the $7 is for. It's to come in, look around a little bit, see the lay of the land, see if this is your thing and make a decision, right? Like if you don't like it, no harm, no foul. Just say, hey, I canceled, no worries, right? Everything's taken care of. Okay. So super awesome. Super awesome. All right. And just so you know, the next cohort kickoff is Tuesday, May 20th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Okay. Let's see. I don't have the link up here yet because I've got something even better, folks. Eddie, it's $7. Anyways, no worries. It's all good. But yes, this is good till Tuesday. All right. This is good until Tuesday. I'm going to give you guys another gift. Okay. Can I give you guys another gift? This one's crazy. This one's really crazy. Okay. So some of you might have been asking, gosh, what if I do this and I don't get a job offer? What if I do this and I don't get a job offer? Would you guys like your money back if you do this and you don't get a job offer? Who would take that deal? Who would take that deal? Who's in? Yeah, right? Awesome. So let me share with you how you can do that. There's a little bit more, there's some more hoops for this one, okay? $7, you can have, everybody can have it. Okay, here you go. Oh, here's the link, guys. Don't worry, it's on the next slide too. TechJoySoftware.trial. I'll drop it in the chat, all right? Let me tell you about this crazy pants money back guarantee. So I'm putting my money where my mouth is, guys. I'm taking all the risk. I know the program rocks. And I know the tech jobs are still here. I know the tech jobs are still here. Okay. Here, let me drop the link in the chat. If you guys want to do the $7 thing, it's right here. And you can do the $7 thing and still get the bonus. Okay. Like the whole point of the $7 for the first week is so you can just come in and see that this is for you. Because to be honest, if it's not for you, we don't want you in there, right? Been there, done that too, right? Like we're looking for love matches, right? Like we get students that just rave about it and they love it. And this was built for them. And we've gotten students that this is not for, and they try to burn it down from the inside. No, we are not for them. Okay. I'll be honest, as a business owner, I found that confusing, but we're not built for everybody. Okay. And I want you to figure that out for you, right? Like I can tell you about it. We just spent the last hour talking about it, but at the end of the day, your experience matters. How you connect with the community matters. If you're someone who's fairly heart-centered and likes to get along with others, you're probably going to be an awesome fit. Like we're a really cool community. But again, you have to like jive with our like style of learning and all the things. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Great questions. Awesome. Some of these I will scroll back through and get at the end. I just want to talk more about the guarantee and I can answer all your questions. I'll stay as long as needed. But I put in the chat, let me just make sure everybody's got it. I want to get the $7 in the chat so you guys can get that. Okay, cool. All right. So there's a couple hoops for the money back guarantee. Okay. But I want to put them all out here because the reason I got rid of the job guarantee was because I put it in the contract and people didn't read the contract and then they were upset. And I hate it when I have students that are upset, even when like I tried to make it as clear as possible. So I'm making this super clear. So there's a couple steps, but I want to make sure everybody is clear. Okay. Because I hate having to tell people no. Like, where's my money back guarantee? I was like, but you didn't do the things. Okay. Let me share with you what this looks like. Okay. To be eligible for the money back guarantee, and I'm only offering this to you guys. All right. Like, so you scored coming tonight because I'm only offering it to you guys. If we really like this, I'll consider keeping it. Okay. But this is a test tonight and you guys got it. Woohoo. So congrats to you. All right. So to be eligible, you need to sign up for the $7 trial by Tuesday. Okay. I'm assuming you would want to sign up for the $7 trial, right? Like come in, take a look around, see if it's for you, right? We want good fits only. And you do that by clicking the link in the chat, techjoysoftware.com/trial. Just know that enrollment will continue for $97 a week until you cancel, but you can cancel anytime. This is not a hostage situation. You do not have to pay me $10,000 up front. Come on in, see if it's for you. This is education as a service. We are providing a service, a community, a support system, a curriculum, and you either love it and you stay, or it's not for you and we part as friends, part ways as friends. Money back guarantee though. Okay. I am so excited. Okay. So if you would like to be eligible for the money back guarantee, we ask that you upgrade your enrollment to the 18-month plan by June 1st. The program was designed to be completed within 18 months. At most 6 months of training. It should take you 3, but we want to allow wiggle room because life happens. 6 months of internship. It should only take 3, but life happens, so we allow the wiggle room. 6 months of job hunt. So the original span of the program, the maximum it should take for everybody is 18 months. So we can only guarantee that you will have a job opportunity, a job offer, if we have that full 18 months. Okay. That is just under $6,000, $5,997, but you don't have to have that up front. We offer financing through Klarna, and it's only $288 a month. So pretty good savings, way less than $97 a week, like on multiple levels, right? And if for any reason you don't have a job offer within 6 months of completing the program, I'm going to give you your money back. Okay, right? So really good opportunity here. Like way low risk, way low risk. I will be giving you a contract, right? As soon as you enroll and you tell us, okay, I'm enrolling in the 18-month, I want that money back guarantee. Awesome. I'm going to give you a contract. Please actually read it. Is all I ask, and then sign it, because that will be the thing that binds us of the money back guarantee. And then you'll apply for jobs for 6 months. We do have some guidelines that you have to follow. We do expect you to be applying for jobs, to be in communication with us, and staying active on the internship during that time period. Okay, so those are the big things. Awesome. So I'm just curious, who's interested in this money back guarantee? Do we have any folks that are interested? Yes, Scott. The $7 trial is for 1 week. So yes, I'm making it super easy to come in and poke your head around, right? Come in, check us out just for a week, $7 for a week. And then it's 97 a week. Okay. Super awesome, folks. All right, cool. Now, if anyone wants to jump straight in to the 18 months, you're welcome to, but I recommend spend $7, come in, check us out, and then I'll get you the upgrade link. And you can, right? I just ask that you sign up. I'm going to leave this open till June 1st, right? I'm going to leave this open till June 1st for you guys. Awesome, Isaac. Good to see you. So, but yeah, we're bringing back the money back guarantee. So congrats. You guys picked the right masterclass to come join because it's pretty awesome. I'm so excited. Anyways, okay. I'm very, very excited because I think this is like, yeah, you guys are going to love this. So, yeah. So, Cheryl, we work with Klarna and Afterpay. They are credit based. But you can check your buying power online ahead of time to see if you'll be eligible even before you go through the process. Yep. I'm sorry, we don't accept a FAFSA because we don't follow the traditional curriculum structure that like all the challenges I outlined with traditional training programs. We don't follow those structures, and so we're not able to accept FAFSAs. Yep, super awesome. I'm gonna drop the link here, folks. But yeah, here you go. Yes. And yeah, you can put on a credit card. You can get a 0% APR credit card if your credit is good. And I will, if for any reason you decide, okay, I do want to do the 18 months and you were on the 97 a week plan, I will refund your previous week, just 1 week. I'll refund 1 week. So you don't have to worry about when you sign up. I'll refund the last one. All right, just let me know. Make sure you tell us so I can get that for you. Okay? Excellent. Excellent, folks. Super awesome. So yes, I invite you to join us. I invite you to join us. Super, super awesome. Yeah, and Cheryl, that's what the 400 a month is for. Now keep in mind that so the 97 a week, right? It's about 400 a month. You can cancel at any time. There's also no job guarantee though, right? Because I can't quite guarantee it, right? To guarantee you a job, I need to allow up to 18 months. It may not take you 18 months, but I need to allow it, right? To guarantee that I can get you through all the stages of learning that you require. Because we don't stipulate you have to pass any kind of entrance exam for the job guarantee. Like I'm literally saying, okay, all comers, I'm going to teach you, right, and help you get an opportunity. So excellent. Super awesome. Super awesome. But yeah, so that's where that comes from. But it covers your risk. It totally covers your risk. So cool. Awesome, Rick. Super awesome. Good to see you. Excellent. Sweet, folks. All right, cool. I have just like a couple more stories to share with you guys. And if you have any questions, please pop them in the chat. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. All right, folks. Cecilia, it should be tax deductible. It would just be like a normal tax deduction, though. There's no extra paperwork with it. You would just put it on your tax return. I've done that for sure. Yeah. Yeah, credit union, if you're part of organizations. Yep, exactly, Dan. That's awesome. Super awesome. Cool. So I wanted to share with you guys, one of our students, Doris, is a single mom. She had no prior coding experience. And she did use the payment plan, right? She took advantage of the payment plan and she landed a 150K job 7 months after joining. No prior coding experience. She did have experience in tech. She worked with databases, but not as a coder, just as a consumer, right? A user of databases. And this is a trend that we see, and this is where some of my ranges come from. If you have tech experience, not coding, but just tech, you can increase your salary by like 15K in just a couple months. To be honest, anywhere from 15 to 50K. So if you have tech experience, working Excel spreadsheets, working on databases, working in IT, and you get our coding training, you can increase your salary super fast. But it's okay. If you don't have those things, you can still get an awesome tech job, right? And you can still learn these skills. It'll just take a little bit longer, right? Usually on average, our students are getting offers around the 8 to 12 month mark if they're starting and they don't have any prior experience. Okay. Awesome sauce, folks. Excellent. I have one final story, one of my favorite students I want to share. So this is my student, Ida. So I have a question. Has anyone thought about how challenging it might be to be a coder, right? Has anyone faced challenges trying to learn to code where like it didn't go smoothly? It might not have gone easily. Yeah, Eddie, every day. Yeah, right. Yeah, it could be challenging, right? So I wanted to share a story with Ida to help us hopefully be a little more grateful about the challenges that we're facing and take them in stride. Because Ida had a lot of challenges learning to code, but I would argue probably more challenging than ours, than the ones we've been facing. Because I faced it too, banging my head against the wall. It took me 10 years to learn how to code. My goodness. But so Ida, I don't know if you guys see the dog at Ida's feet. She's legally blind. Do you guys think it would be more challenging to learn to code if you were legally blind? Does anyone think that? Just out of curiosity, would it be more challenging to learn to code if you were legally blind? Yeah, absolutely. Right. So Ida, she actually is partially sighted. She can see like this much of her computer screen if she makes her text really, really big. Okay. So she legally is blind, usually listens to her screen. She learned how to code. She learned how to code and became a six-figure software developer at Chase Manhattan, right? One of the biggest banks in the country. Was it challenging? Yeah, but she did it. She was successful following the same system I've shared with you tonight, right? The same exact system. And so here is the fun thing, right? Ida is legally blind. So when Ida approaches software development, she's looking at it from a certain perspective, right? When I look at technology, I look at it one way. When Ida looks at technology, she sees it through the lens of accessibility. And so now Ida makes software more accessible for those who are totally blind. So she took her challenge and she made it a gift. And now she gives to those who can't see at all because she can see a little bit. So she's a little bit better off and she's able to make their software more accessible, more usable for them, right? All of us have that unique perspective, right? We bring a unique way of viewing the world to software. And so no matter how challenging it's been to learn this, I want you to be able to have that kind of impact, right? Technology is changing our lives. I want to make sure that everyone who wants a seat at the table can have one, right? Of designing what's going on our phones all the time. Gosh, you play some of those games, they are dopamine factories, man. Like potentially mind controlling levels. I want to make sure there's some balance that, society is better off when we all can share in creating the software, right? I don't want it just in the hands of the few, or if you had to be born in a certain place or, look a certain way or have gobs of money. I want anyone who wants to be able to learn to code to do it. All right. That's why I'm here. I want you to have that impact. All right, folks. So what I want to leave you with is that all problems are solvable. Tech problems, financial problems, like all of these problems are solvable. You can do this. All right, you can do this. And the other piece is that what we are teaching tonight and in the academy is about transformation, not information. This is where the traditional approaches, right, fail. I'm trying to teach you information. I am helping you transform into the person who is capable of having that six-figure career and to create these amazing software and apps that can have the potential to transform society. All right. Super, super awesome. Super awesome. All right, cool. Excellent, folks. So I'm going to leave it on that note. But if you guys have questions, let me know. I'm going to drop the link in the chat again. I hope some of you guys will take me up on my $7 offer. It's just for a week, right? $7 for the first 7 days. So come on in, take a look around, right? And then make a decision. Just let me know. We can cancel it if it's not a good fit. But if you like it, stick around, right? You'll learn something. So we love teaching. Awesome. Yeah, for sure. So good. Thank you, Dan. All right. So, and guys, just so you know, like the money back guarantee, the 18-month enrollment, $288 through Klarna, way cheaper than $97 a week. And you save like 20%. right? Like if you were going to do weekly for 18 months, this is like a 20% discount plus it's lower. So super awesome. So yeah, tonight's your night, man. Tonight's your night to take your next step. Just if you want the money back guarantee, just don't forget to enroll by June 1st. All right. So you've got the upgrade link there. Excellent. Awesome sauce, folks. What questions can I answer? So David, what time does the program start? Awesome. Yeah, no worries. David, you should be fine. So we host sessions. They run from like 1 p.m. to Eastern to like 10 p.m. Eastern. So you should be able to find some sessions that fit. I'm not sure what 4 p.m. to midnight should still be fine. I don't know what time zone though. Okay, excellent. Yep. So you guys got the link, right? Great question, David. Yep. Again, this is why we say, hey, just come on in. Right, come on in, check it out. Because everybody's got different schedules, right? Everybody's got different learning styles. See if it works for you, right? We've had students, yeah, like we've had students come in and love it, hit the ground running, like they fly through it, and some don't, right? So you get to decide, right? You're a fully grown adult capable of making decisions, and we want to just help you do that. Super awesome. Cool. That's awesome, Cecilia. Super awesome. Yes, absolutely, Cecilia. You can text me for sure. For sure. Awesome. Right now I'm actually I'm gonna turn off the recording.